Welcome back into another episode of Infamously Speaking. I'm your host, Matt, joined by my other host, Quan. And as always, you already know what we're here to talk about. Super Bowl matchup has been set. The Seattle Seahawks versus Quan's New England Patriots. They did it. They did it.
I called it.
From worst to first to Super Bowl appearance, the only team in NFL history to go 9-0 on the road.
Yes, sir. We're going back to Cali. Yo, I'm excited.
Listen,
I haven't been this excited for a Super Bowl probably since when we played the Eagles the first time. Cause I was excited for the Falcons and the Rams, but probably even more so. Even I would even say probably the 0-1 because we weren't expected to get it done to get to the Super Bowl. Know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
And now I feel like throughout the whole playoffs, throughout the whole season, we've been looked at as we're not a real team, et cetera, the schedule, et cetera. Even now, who do you play? You played Herbert, Stroud, and Stidham. What they fail to realize, and they're like he's reminiscent of what's the quarterbacks they threw out there?
Dilfer.
Yeah, that's
Rex Grossman.
Actually, your Cam said it too.
Cam's the one who said it. But before we get into all the spicy talk, we going to get to it. We got to do the normal. Before we get too far into the show, first and foremost, I got to thank everybody who's been tuned in, tapped in. I've had people reach out, have people stop me in the office, talk about it. They can't wait to hear what our decisions are. A lot of people disappointed in me for picking the Rams, by the way, not going with the hometown Seattle Seahawks. And boy, does Sam Darnold prove me wrong. We'll get into that game too. Don't worry, Seahawks fans. You won't be completely disappointed by this episode. If you're not already subscribed to the Infamously Speaking YouTube channel or wherever you listen to the Infamously Speaking podcast, I see that a majority of folks are listening on Apple. Appreciate y'all there listening in audio format. Hit the subscribe button, like the show, leave a like on the videos, follow us on social media at Infamously Speaking. And with that being said, let's jump into it. I know you wanted to talk about the disrespect being thrown the Patriots' way. Got you fired up. So go ahead. The floor is yours.
Let's see that. That's that chip on my shoulder, man. I told you that's what drives me. It's the motivation piece of, all right, count us out. Count me out. And let me prove you wrong time and time again. Now, back to the comments of Drake is looking like, who do you say again? I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
Trent Dilfer. Rex Grossman.
Facing 3 of the top 5 defenses, super impressive. And to your point, because you was texting me throughout the game, is he came up clutch when he needed to. With his legs, making the right decisions to run the ball. And they're like, he played a shitty game, 80 yards or whatever, right? Once again, top defense in Denver, not an easy place to play. In those conditions, I'll take that win all day. And I don't know if you knew this, but they said that Drake actually made that decision at the end to roll out and keep the ball.
I saw that. So let me give you my initial thoughts on everything. Starting with this game that we saw. Obviously, everybody saw it. First game was Championship Sunday, scored 10-7. Defensive struggle, battling the elements. And a lot of folks will remember this game as a weather game. But the weather didn't start really getting crazy till about halfway through the third quarter. So the defense was really on point this game from start to finish, regardless of what the weather was doing. Here's what was impressive, because I texted you after the game, and I was like, this was Drake's best game of the postseason. And I mean that. Obviously, the numbers aren't flashy. 10 for 21, 86 yards passing, quarterback rating of 62. That doesn't sound impressive. But why do I think this was Drake's best game in the playoffs? It's simple. You talked about it, the rushing. The touchdown came off of him. The biggest rush of the day, I think, was like a 28-yard rush on that field goal drive, right? The game-clinching play was a Drake Maye decision. I believe it was 6 first downs via rushing the ball. So that was extremely impressive. But it was the turnovers. We talked about that in the precursor. How does Denver win this game? They get Drake Maye to do what he was doing the first couple games, right? Get him apply pressure, which they did. 5 sacks. No fumbles from Drake. He didn't make the decision. He didn't make the bad decision. He didn't have the bad play. In fact, it was Stidham who had the bad play, and that was the difference in the game. And it's so easy for a quarterback in his second year who has all this noise swirling around him, like, oh, he's not playing like an MVP right now. He needs to do something, right? And you hear the media like, should Drake just be chill this game? And you hear Drake's like, I'm just gonna be myself. I'll be aggressive if I need to be. Well, this game he wasn't aggressive with the arm, but he was aggressive with the legs. And so I loved this game by Drake. I really did. And there's a clip he was talking to McDaniels, and he was like, man, this shit is hard. Yeah, it's fucking hard. Yeah, the games you playing a top-ranked defense with the best pass rush in the game in inclement weather. And yet he still got it done. And so the people that are like, Drake Maye, the reason they're here is not because of Drake. The reason they even make the playoffs is Drake Maye. That's number one. He's an MVP candidate. You talk about they're not here. They're here in spite of Drake Maye's play. Shit is insane, brother. Shit is insane.
Team sport. It's a team sport, man.
And now he's going to have to go and light up the Seahawks. Now he's going to have to go light up the Seahawks.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch this football game. Nobody text me. Nobody call me. I'm going to be isolated. Probably in New England. I might go to Gillette and just watch it there.
Imagine if that game was played in Gillette with all that snow going crazy.
Crazy.
Shout out to all people in the Northeast.
Cold front. We're about to get smacked with another cold front, I heard. But
I was thoroughly impressed. And I think so. Let's talk about the game as a whole, right?
Yeah, let me ask you this. How did you feel about the 4th and 1 call and decision?
So that's a tough one, right? We talked about it on last show and even the show before where you talk about game flow, right? And you could tell in that game that points were going to be at a premium. I think leading up to that, New England had like 12 plays, 12 yards or something ridiculous, or like 36 yards. They weren't doing anything offensively. And I know you had the same beef when it was the other way around, when Belichick, who we'll talk about, didn't go and kick the field goal when they played Denver in 2015. That was Peyton's last year. I think if you're Sean Payton, experienced coach, I get it. You want to try to go for the kill shot, get 7, right? Your backup quarterback has momentum. But going up 10 there would have felt like a almost insurmountable task for a team that had nothing going on in New England. That's how I feel. But I feel like you take the 3 just based off of game flow.
Based off of game flow and your defense playing at a high level, I think you take the 3 because it almost feels it's like 2 touchdowns, right? But at the same time, I like the aggressiveness. I just hated the play call.
Absolutely.
That's a terrible play call.
Run the ball.
Yeah. Because even if you miss it, right, like you don't get it, like they didn't, your defense is playing so well that the Patriots are backed up anyway. So I'm not mad at the decision, if I'm being honest with you. I just feel like, especially with Sean Payton being an offensive guru, they would have had a much better play call for that particular moment. But hey, I'll take it. I'll take it.
No, I mean, it was a major. And the thing is, too, like, to your point, just to back it up, back up your point, is the defense didn't give up any points on the following possession anyways. So the defense did their job.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to see them run the ball there. 4th and 1, like I said, you're putting your backup quarterback in an interesting spot, and I get it. You have to have all the confidence in the world in him. But sometimes you could just make the game easy. No need to overcomplicate things.
Yeah, I think it was Rex Ryan that said something too. Like, the coaches are aware of what the weather is going to be throughout the game. Like, you know, it's not like it's we didn't know it was going to be crazy out by this time of the game. Like, there's awareness around that. So with that awareness piece too, that's like, all right, let's take 2 possession score right here and see what we do. Well, it's easy the thing is, it's easy to knock it in hindsight because you see what the score ended up being.
Of course. I just think because you know what's going on and you see how your defense is playing, that I'm taking the opportunity to go up 2 scores.
That's my point.
I'm taking the opportunity to go up 2 scores. Kick the 3. Now, you mentioned that, right? They know what the weather's going to be. I think that's what made the Patriots drive in the 3rd quarter so impressive, right? That field goal drive. They took up so much clock that when
like
Denver got when Denver got the ball back, they had no ability any time in the second half with decent weather to operate offense. And they talked about them kicking it. They had the ball kicking it. So when you could tell that was going to be a mess either way.
Yeah.
But that was such an impressive drive. And we talked about that on last episode because we talked about, remember, I was like, I think the Patriots' most impressive drive against Houston was where they burned a bunch of clock. They ended up punting, but they burned a shit ton of clock. Same deal here.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. And they just kept handing the ball out to Ramondre, that was the one drive he was killing them. That was the one drive. And, of course, Drake kills him on that drive with the 28-yard rush. But that was phenomenal game sense. Like, hey, we know the weather's coming in. We know the weather's coming in. Kill the clock.
Even at the end of the first half, he missed a field goal. It was a long field goal. But did you remember the situation? Drake was running, and instead of running out because he knew he wasn't going to get out, he went down to call the timeout.
And Vrabel was right there.
Yeah, that was crazy situational football. That was really impressive. But that tells you a lot about that leadership and that coaching too, right? I don't think you win 9 games on the road without great coaching.
Absolutely.
Even to your point that you said earlier, like the turnovers, right? That was a big part of the game. Let the defense win. Like that was huge. There's little things that like I feel like gets overlooked because we know what the game has come to. But I wasn't even mad. I feel like they should have ran the ball, but avoiding a turnover when they threw it on 3rd and like 3 with like 5 minutes left or something. Remember, they kind of just threw the ball away so they didn't turn it over and just let the defense play.
Mm-hmm.
Like little shit like that gets overlooked, but it's a big part of the game. What it came down to, right? Because I think the following possessions when Gonzalez picked off.
Yep. I'm trying to find, and I'm not finding it right now. But number one, New England won a key stat, right? We talked about turnovers. They won another key stat, time of possession, about 7 more minutes than Denver. They also, which was super impressive about this game, is it felt like I was looking for average starting field position. They were behind the 8 ball a lot in that game, as far as the Patriots were.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the not turning the ball over so critical, because you turn the ball over, they're in instant field goal range, like right away. And obviously we could tell threes would have won this game. And so that's why I feel like I said this was Drake's best game, because it's understanding, hey, I don't necessarily need to be Superman to win this game. We've seen it bite other quarterbacks this postseason, right? Everybody's favorite quarterback, Josh Allen, trying to be Superman too much against this Denver team. And it killed him. Drake's like, hey, pick my spots. I don't got to be elite with the arm. I could be elite with the legs. And Patriots come away with a gutsy win. And for all the people, like, if Bo Nix was there, we're killing them. You have no clue how Bo Nix would have played. Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. Because this defensive line, which has been underrated all season long, that was one of the top-rated offensive lines in football. And they got dominated. Absolutely dominated at the point of attack. Dominated.
I seen a play, I forgot what player it was. He was rushing one of like the all-pro offensive line on the right side for Denver, and he absolutely destroyed him. Like, destroyed him. And he got a big sack on Stidham.
Whole line is going crazy. Obviously, Milton Williams has been playing huge, big offseason addition. Caleb Chason has been playing at another unworldly level of play this postseason.
He's all over the place.
He's a monster. Ellis has been incredible. He's been all over the field. And that defense at all 3 levels is balling.
You know what I like, too, is the week before against the Texans, Jones got cooked on that touchdown. He came back and made a big play, scored on the pick 6. Gonzalez got cooked on that long pass to Mims Jr. Mm-hmm. Although I feel like that was a communication thing because the way the safety dropped down, but still, he got cooked, right? And the resilience he had to come up with that big play at the end, just, again, it speaks volumes. Because you're going to take your shots and you're going to get hit, but it's about how you bounce back. Bounce back in a big way, man. We're headed to
absolutely
St. Clair, that was called?
Santa Clara, to face the NFC champion Seattle Seahawks. And let's talk about that game a little bit. I mean, what a quarterback matchup we were treated to. That was one of the best back and forth quarterback performances that I've seen in a long time. Stafford, hats off to him, played incredible. Darnold, let's start with Sam Darnold. proved a lot of people wrong. His inability, right? That was the big story coming in. That's why Minnesota didn't give him the big deal, right? And he was getting killed, and rightfully so, right? Because he's struggled in big games. That was the thing. Came up and he out-dueled Matt Stafford. And I don't think anybody would have been like, if Sam Darnold out-duels Matt Stafford, it's going to be because they both play phenomenally and Sam Darnold just plays more phenomenal, right? It would be like Matt Stafford has a rough game and Sam Darnold just plays okay. But Sam was on the money all night. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on Sam's performance and then, Seattle as a whole.
JSN.
He's a savage.
He is a savage, bro. That guy is disgusting. You know what else I liked? The GOAT Tom Brady's commentary. And just calling out the little things, like the shoulders. Did you hear that part?
I sure did.
JSN don't drop his shoulders to tell. That's the kind of insight that I really appreciate, that I would never have, known from the outside looking in. So getting that insight was pretty dope. Again, I kind of fell asleep. I woke up to a whole bunch of that's a good game. Even my brother hit me up. Shout out to Adam, man. He was excited about that game, and he didn't want to play Seattle, but I said, I don't care who we play.
I'll tell you what. I think I said it on. Did I say it on the black? No, I think I said it in the office. I was like, I would like the Patriots' chances more against the Rams than the Seahawks because of, we've seen it in the postseason, right? Especially in the Carolina game. That secondary is very gettable, very gettable. To your point, JSN is incredible. I mean, Puka was a monster in this game, 9 for 165 in a tutty. Cooper Kupp was making plays. He was putting on for his home state. But the biggest takeaway, like I said, has to be Sam Darnold, man. Like, I'm sure if you were a Seahawks fan, maybe Seahawks fans were like, no, we believed in Sam this entire time. We all lie, and that's okay, but I won't call you out on that. But there had to be something. I'm like, man, my goodness. Please don't let today be the day he turns into a pumpkin. I think this is the first time we've seen in a big spot him play a fantastic game from start to finish. Because even in the second game where they played the Rams and they came back and won, he wasn't very good for the first 3.5 quarters. He turned up, second half of that fourth, and then obviously in overtime. From the first snap, he was on point. First snap to the end of the game, the first drive, he had that bomb to Shaheed. Of course, like I said, JSL has been involved the entire time. So, when I think about Seattle, I think about their ability to win in all three phases. And that's what you look for. We talked about that with the Patriots, right? An ability to win in all three phases. Seattle has that they could win offensively, win defensively, and obviously special teams killed the Rams. Early Super Bowl preview here. I know who you like. It's obvious. But outside of just being a fan, why do you think New England comes away with the win?
Oh, it's easy. Leadership. I feel like they got the best leader.
Like McDonald's done a great job.
I feel like they have the best leader. I feel like they have the MVP of the league. And like you said, our defense has been overlooked. With Million Williams in the center, right? Like Gonzalez, I feel very confident in this game. I'm not overly confident, don't get me wrong, because it's any given Sunday, but I like our chances. I think Drake Maye is the way better quarterback. Same reason why we took Stafford over Sam Darnold. We just felt like that was the better quarterback that you'd rather rely on in that kind of game. But yeah, I feel like that's the main thing, is that leadership and that QB leading the helm. And that defense is just impressive, to say the least.
I think for the Patriots to win, that needs to be the story of the game. Not that Drake can't light Seattle up, even though that's a tough Seattle defense. Like Seattle got, just like New England, they got playmakers all over that defense. Obviously, playmakers on offense. We talked about JSN. Kenneth Walker's a threat out of the backfield. Cooper Kupp, Rashid Shaheed, big play threat. I agree with you. If you did coaching matchup, who do I think has the coaching edge? I gotta go with Mike Vrabel. He's just coached in bigger spots. Right? He went to AFC Championship with the Titans, but also has played in a bunch of Super Bowls as well. Quarterback edge. I'm a Drake Maye guy, but Sam Darnold has proven with this game that he can play.
Sam Darnold also proved that he sees ghosts when he plays his team. So let's go there.
That was in Foxborough. That was
I
in
don't give a
Foxborough now.
fuck. He seen ghosts on the field.
Now, what I will say is this. The Seahawks didn't have the defensive gauntlet that the Patriots went through. Now, the Patriots are now playing the top-ranked scoring defense in the Super Bowl. So they win. They went through four of the top 5 scoring defenses to win the Super Bowl. So everybody's talking about the easiest path to a Super Bowl. 4 of the top 5 scoring defenses is a little insane.
That's impressive.
Just throwing that out there. So it's not like they're. I say that to say that it's not like they're used to it at this point, right? They're used to it. They're used to playing tough defenses, aggressive defenses, tons of talent. San Francisco was banged up. The Rams defense from like the second half of the year on has been not great. I'm not 100% sure who I'm going with though yet.
I actually want you to go for.
I don't think I'm gonna. Like right now, if I had to make a pick right now, I'm leaning New England. But that's just because I believe in Drake Maye.
You have been a believer in Drake Maye.
And the fact that he's had these down games actually gives me strangely more confidence going into the Super Bowl.
I agree, because you know he's gonna.
Because if anybody is due for a game, it's right now. It's Drake Maye in the Super Bowl in the same stadium where he watched his Panthers lose to the Broncos. Redemption story for the kid from Carolina.
I love it.
10 years later, that'd be a heck of a story.
I love it.
Heck of a story. So I want to talk about the losing teams real quick. Let's talk about the Rams quick because, as everybody knows, that was my pick to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And so Quan is the only one that had a correct pick make it to the Super Bowl. Did you pick the Patriots in the beginning of the season, actually?
I did.
To make it out of the AFC?
Yeah, because I looked at some of the old shit that we had put up.
So,
because I said, why not? If we win the East, why not? Once we're in the dance.
This guy talking like he's on the team. Why
just
not
got
us?
A 2-step. Why not us, man? Forged in Foxborough, baby.
Yo, credit to you. You was on that early, too. Credit to you. That's a you know, those odds, I believe there was 6,000 to 1. If you would have bet that. Actually, them and Seattle, I believe, are both 6,000 to 1 to open the season. Imagine if you would have put that slip in. Woo-wee. Woo-wee. That would have been a ridiculous payout. But the Rams, the reason I liked the Rams throughout the entire season was because of the prolific offense. Especially when we saw that Matt Stafford, the back thing, whether it was real or not, obviously was not an issue throughout the entire season. The special teams have killed them, especially this season. We start to think about the Eagles game that they lost. They got killed there. The second game they played against Seattle, special teams bit them there. This game, obviously, the muff punt ends up in Seattle scoring 7. What's the Rams' outlook next season? Obviously, Seattle is super competitive in your division. The Niners, banged up, made it to the second round of the playoffs. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Obviously, this is contingent on Matt Stafford coming back. What do you think the outlook for the Rams is moving forward? Like,
I think they're still in the prime position because you had a great point with the Niners being banged up, making it that far. Obviously, it's not easy to get back to NFC Championship game, let alone the Super Bowl. But if they keep the pieces, why not? They're a play away, like you said, right?
That's true.
They just got to tighten up the special teams, really. And their defense got to be consistent enough throughout the year because, like you said, the drop-off was evident going into the playoffs.
Huge.
So I don't think that their outlook is done if Stafford comes back, right? That offense still will be prolific with Puka. That guy is different,
bro.
And then when you got Devontae on the other side, that team could easily be in the Super Bowl. So I think it's a tough loss, but it's almost like, all right, how do we build on it? Kind of like what we talked about the previous episode.
Right.
What plays can we have made differently? What could we improve so that when we get to this spot next year, we have the opportunity that we really want, which is the Super Bowl?
You know, looking back, I wonder if their season was chalked up when they played Seattle the second time. Because if you think about it, they win that game, they're the 1 seed. this game's being played in Los Angeles. Do I think that's makes a different outcome? I don't know. I mean, the Rams with this loss, 5-4 on the road, maybe it does. Seattle's been a great road team though. So, but we all know that Seattle is an incredible home field advantage. So does that look a little bit different? I just don't know. Like I said, special teams has been an issue for the entire McVay tenure, really. And so it's like, how do you fix that? Because if you think about it, they win the Eagles game, things look a little bit different. If they win the Seattle game, things are completely different. And also, what you don't know is what happens is, think about if you beat Seattle in Seattle. What does that do to them moving forward? How much air does that let out of their balloon? Like, damn, we can't win the game against these guys. You sweep the season series against them. You don't have no idea what that does to a psyche either. So now you got a confident Seattle team rolling, whatever happens this season, rolling into next season. They've clearly found their quarterback. And then think about the rest of the NFC. Jaden's going to be back. Let's see what the Commanders are. Jackson Dart, I think he's going to be on a Drake Maye trajectory. I told you that. Jackson next. Jackson next.
I like Jackson Dart, so I'm not even going to hate.
I'm speaking it into existence. Could you imagine a Jackson Dart, Drake Maye Super Bowl?
Oh, it'd be crazy. I won't have friends after. Unless the Giants win, I won't have friends.
That would
so I would hope I'd root for the Giants just so I don't lose friends.
I'd still be your friend.
That's true.
I'd still be your friend. Because I like Drake Maye.
I'll never.
That kid's a baller, man. That kid is a baller. And again, it's all contingent on Stafford coming back, like you said. And then also, another year he's getting closer to 40.
Yeah, but he had an MVP season. So
who says he puts that up again?
Who says he
doesn't?
You
never know. You think he's Tom Brady?
No.
Okay, Father Time catches up to everybody.
Yeah, but when he got weapons that he has at his disposal,
that's true.
Offense is crazy season out there,
but they got to fix the defense. That's number one. If the defense plays how it did the second half of this season, they're not going to be close to sniffing the Super Bowl.
They better call Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold's crazy.
Aaron Donald.
They call Aaron Donald. Man, call Malik Willis. He was balling. And then, of course, I just said Malik, Chicago, right? They should be better. We think Detroit should bounce back. Green Bay with a healthy Micah, that probably looks different. Like, the NFC has a lot of interesting teams in it. Tyler Shuck, your guy, Tyler Shuck.
You're getting way ahead of yourself now. You're talking about talking about next year already. What are you doing?
Excited, guy. I'm excited. We got John Harbaugh. I'm excited.
We should be talking about the flag football game going into this week.
No, thanks. So let's talk about the Broncos. Obviously, everybody in Denver feels like that game goes differently if Bo Nix is available. I'm not too sure about that. The Broncos are not a fast-starting team, so they like to say they're scoring for the fourth quarter, and nobody was scoring in that weather in the fourth quarter. So who knows? Might have been worse for you guys. Maybe Stidham saved you guys. Denver's an interesting team because we talked about how maybe the balance in the AFC is shifting. Right, Drake Maye, Bo Nix, both taken in the same draft. Here they are in the Super Bowl, playing to go to the Super Bowl. So I think when you talk about what people expect to be the upper echelon of the AFC, right? Like if you consider Buffalo and Baltimore with Lamar, and then if Patrick is healthy, the Chiefs, the Patriots have to be in that conversation now. You can't talk about the upper echelon of the AFC and it's not because they're in the Super Bowl. It's because they clearly hit the quarterback and they clearly have the coach. And they have great ownership that's willing to spend to improve the team. And they got they have a young quarterback on a cheap deal. Am I wrong to think that? Yeah. And then Denver, similar situation. Right? Bo Nix clearly has talent, regardless of I'm not the hugest Bo Nix guy, but he clearly has talent. Sean Payton's a great coach. Killer defense. The only difference is that division's a little bit tougher. So could I see Denver potentially finishing maybe second or third in the division, depending on the health of Patrick Mahomes, especially with McDaniel taking the Charger OC job? Maybe. What do you think things look like for Denver in the future?
That's tough. That's tough to say, only because, to your point, when you hit the quarterback and the coach, you already put yourself in a great position. The only problem is you got a Hall of Famer in Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid also in that division, to your point. So I could see Denver digressing, right? I even like the Chargers. I told you that all year. It's just, their line was banged up. Hampton got banged up. So I could definitely see them, making the playoffs, but not being the number one seed again. I don't see that happening.
And I mean, it's tough. Like I always give Herbert a ton of shit, right? McDaniel's clearly a great, sharp offensive mind. Like you said, Hampton barely played. The tackles weren't around. Najee Harris didn't get a single snap, right?
But yeah, that's right.
So they definitely have potential. And they had a good defense as well. So, and then who knows what the Raiders are going to do? Maybe they nail the coach. Maybe Mendoza is the answer. That's an interesting team, another interesting team in your own division. So I agree with you. I think you could see Denver regress a little bit. And maybe not regress in the fact that they get worse, but the competition within their own division gets better, which makes it tougher for them.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about the game, and we'll in the show leading up to the Super Bowl, we'll break down that specific matchup much more. I don't want to go crazy on the analysis there just yet. But we have some surrounding news in the NFL. One of them being your favorite coach, Bill Belichick. So if you haven't heard the news already, Bill Belichick was not voted into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. And I purposely did not listen to a lot of the commentary because the first person that I really wanted to hear talk about it was you. Because you might have a take that might surprise some people, because if any people who listen to this show have a good idea of how you feel about Bill Belichick. So, floor is yours.
What's the first question? How do I feel about it, or do I think it was the right decision?
Going on. How you feel about it?
How do I feel about it? I don't really feel anything about it, if I'm being 100% honest. He's going to get there. He's just not going to be first ballot, clearly, which is kind of weird in my decision. I mean, my opinion, only because although he made a lot of questionable choices that I felt cost us some championships, you can't take away what he was, his accolades, right? 6 Super Bowls. I think he's what is he? Number 2 wins all time. So I won't take that away from him. I think that if you're going to have a first ballot coach, he should easily be in that argument, right? It shouldn't even be a question. I know that some people probably use the Deflate Gate and all that, Spy Gate and all that shit against him. I did read something, though, where, like, the voting system has kind of changed. So they said that some voters may have, and there's no evidence of it, but some voters may have chosen others who were, like, on the fence to even get nominated to give them a spot or a chance, right? So maybe that came into play, maybe it didn't. At the end of the day, it's just a title, in my opinion. So if you ask any football player, past, present, or future, they're going to say that's a Hall of Fame coach. So what matters more, the gold jacket, or really what people are, your actual legacy?
So there's a couple things here. I think there's a different weight of being first ballot, right? At least in the player standpoint. There's like a quarterback. There's a difference in being a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback than being a Hall of Fame quarterback.
You see Eli didn't even get chosen again?
I knew that wasn't going to happen. And the reason for that is, did you see what quarterback was on the ballot? Drew Brees.
Okay.
I mean, listen, I'm a Giants fan. Love Eli. 2 Super Bowls. Drew Brees was objectively better. This just is what it is. Drew Brees was a savage. Eli's going to get in eventually. I have no doubt Eli will get in. But, yeah, Drew Brees is on the ballot. And then there's other, like Larry Fitzgerald is on the ballot. He's 100% first ballot Hall of Fame. But there's a different weight to first ballot. My thing with this ruling is,
the players, I guess. But
I think maybe to the players, but for sure when you're talking about like GOAT conversations, that matters. Especially in football. Like basketball Hall of Fame is a little bit more open, right? And it's not just a professional basketball Hall of Fame because there's college and stuff in there. But there's that. But also, you just set a precedent. Now, what coach will ever be first ballot Hall of Fame? So you just set you are not getting in on your first ballot. And the thing is, if Bill gets in the second go around, what coach should get in on the second go around? Nobody should be getting in on the same ballot as Belichick if he didn't get in on the first one. You get what I'm saying? Because no one's on the same. There's nobody on, like Shula is the most winning coach. No one else is even close. And then postseason success, Shula is not even close.
Yeah.
Where do coaches? If I'm a coach doing great things, like where do I land?
Yeah.
At that point, like, do I ever get in? This guy Bill didn't even get on his. I'm nowhere close to Bill. So that's one. I think and this is where I think recency bias hurts people, though, because the ending in New England was not great. Because you hear about him being a reason why Tom left New England. And I know that what he's doing in college has nothing to do with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But the thing is that voters are human. People are human. And you've heard people about their stories on how they vote and how they take things into account that they probably shouldn't. But that's what recency bias does. And his last 5 years of coaching have not been great. And that just is what it is, right? Since Brady left, they had the 1 year with Mac Jones where they went to the playoffs, and then it was just a dumpster fire for the rest of his time in New England. North Carolina's been a dumpster fire. Sounds like he was burning bridges in the Patriots organization, right? He's not allowing anybody from the Patriots organization to come into North Carolina. Just, I don't know. I feel like as humans, sometimes you take things into account that really shouldn't matter.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Like I said, I don't take the accolades away from him. I jokingly told you, like, maybe they used Brady against him, like they was using Belichick against Brady, of like, he led to a lot of the success, which I agree with. I agree with that as well. But it's like you said, like if he don't, then who does? And if there's coaches that's playing for the Hall of Fame, good luck.
You look at that, you're like, yo, when am I ever getting it?
Yeah. But
he's been in 9 Super Bowls as a head coach. Can you fathom that? 9 Super Bowls, won 6 of them.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
He has more than he's a tie with franchises.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Shit is insane to me. How objective.
Maybe if he played Malcolm Butler against Philly, he'd be in there first ballot.
No, like you said, there's questionable decisions, but I think this is where the Hall of Fame voting gets weird in every sport. It's because there's people with emotion and biases that allow that to cloud their objectivity.
Do you think Bill cares?
Apparently, there was a statement I saw. He said to like an assistant or something like that, where it's like 6 Super Bowls. What else you got to do? I mean, I would care,
but I don't know if that's real because I see another quote where it's like he's worried that it might affect the players when it comes to their turn to from the Patriots organization.
I saw that quote on the same quote of what Tom Brady said about Bill Belichick, which I went and then listened to the audio of that quote just because I want to make sure and verify. Like, was this paraphrase or whatever? Brady was like, "That's absolutely ridiculous. If anybody's gonna make it, it's gonna be him." But I think that does raise some concerns, right? Where it's like, what faith do you have? And it could be as players, like, what faith do you have? That's as easy as a decision as it gets. The only easier decision is going to be when Tom is up for the Hall. Other than that, there's no easier decision, and they didn't get it right. So wouldn't that kind of be like, you know what? I don't know if I trust these guys to get it right.
Yeah. Tom might not even make it now.
No chance, bro. The whole shit would be a sham. Tom Brady not first ballot Hall of Famer. Peyton Manning was, and that's no disrespect to Peyton Manning. Obviously, all-time great, but Tom is on a level all alone. And so is Bill when it comes to coaching, on a level all alone.
Maybe they took into consideration like his Brown stint, wasn't great.
His Brown stint wasn't great. I get that. But second all-time wins, first all-time playoff wins, first all-time Super Bowls, first all-time championship game appearances. You can't. And I get it. And that could have hurt him too, seeing Tom leave, because that was a conversation when Tom won the Super Bowl with Tampa.
Correct.
That was a massive conversation. Like,
and there's a drop-off.
Look at this.
Granted, we made the playoffs.
It clearly wasn't the same product.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I saw this shit, and bro, I'm not a New England fan by any stretch. I'm like, yo, that shit is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because you know he was a coaching genius. Some of the shit that he pulled, or like how he used to manipulate the clocks. Remember that shit he did against the Jets?
Yeah, that was funny. That was
you know
funny.
what I mean?
Yeah, that was funny.
Obviously,
you took a safety.
Right, take a safety, like
to kick the ball, yeah.
I can't remember outside of the games you called out where I'm like the Patriots lost because the other team was more prepared. The other team was better coached. Wasn't many games like that. So, I mean, how much did Tom cover up? We'll never know.
Maybe it's because he made the decision to go to college and mess with one of the students.
Now, let me flip the question on you. Now that we see this, I mean, this is like they should just put Tom in the Hall of Fame now. At that point, because if you're like he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer because the quarterback is what made him look good. Then if the quarterback made him look that good, a quarterback gotta put him in. They should have put him in the Hall of Fame as soon as he retired.
Yeah, I thought they was.
I'd feel super confident if I was Tom.
Oh, of course. I mean,
you kidding me? I'd feel even more confident now.
I mean, yeah, but how do you not, anyways? I guess because of human nature, like you described, but
bro, people are haters. People are haters.
Trust me, I know. As a Patriots fan, I get it.
And I get it. Like, I get the Spygate, right? I get the Deflategate, sure. But they still won chips around that.
Yeah.
Like they won chips around that. Yo, just based off the Atlanta championship alone, 28-3, you got to be in the Hall just off of that shit.
Yeah,
just
that's a big game. Shit. That's a big game.
Just off of that.
So, I don't know, man. It's one of those things. I've been reading. Just got to let it happen. Accept it for what it is.
I think you're happy on the inside.
No, it just doesn't phase me. It doesn't affect me. So
I think the only thing,
if I'm Bill, even if that happened to Tom, right? I was like, yo, you don't believe he's the first ballot Hall of Fame? Good for you, I guess. I know what it is. I'm content with that.
Listen, I think the only thing that would make you happier than this news right here is you seeing Todd Bowles get fired.
That would make me extremely happy. I'm not gonna lie to you, because Todd Bowles cost Tom an extra Super Bowl ring. Yo, Tom would have 9 Super Bowls, bro.
Yeah, well, you think? Yeah, they definitely would be in Carolina.
Yeah,
they would have been in Carolina. At Cam Newton on that one, they definitely would have been They would definitely be in Carolina.
No, I'm not talking about that one.
What are you talking about? I know you're talking about the Buccaneers.
Yeah, the Bucks.
He got 7 rings.
Played Carolina.
Tom's got 7 rings. So where'd you get to 9?
The Eagles, because of Bill.
Oh, you talking about Malcolm Butler?
Yeah.
I was thinking about I thought you were talking about the Denver one, where if they kicked the field goal.
No. I think we would have won that one as well, but that game wasn't a guarantee. That just would have put us in a better position because we still was down 10.
That's true.
So we'd have still been down a field goal, and that defense was cooking. So I won't even chalk that one up. That was just a bad decision that didn't put us in a great place. I'm talking about Malcolm Butler playing would have made a big difference. He's our best corner. And then the Todd Bowles decision to blitz and send the guy who's guarding Cooper Kupp, who's a Triple Crown winner that year. Just made no sense.
Single coverage on Cooper Kupp in the biggest down of the season is actually insane work. Like literally, that's like saying, hey, single coverage last year's Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
This year's JSN.
There's not even single coverage with the corner at that point because they sent the corner blitz all out blitz.
It was safety. It was Antoine Winfield, who's a great safety, by the way, Antoine Winfield Jr. But come on now, that's like, hey, go guard Puka.
And the Bucks had the momentum at that point because they made that comeback.
They sure did. Listen,
Todd Bowles sucks.
My goodness. All right, man. I know. There's a couple people that you dislike, and I know Todd Bowles at the top of that list. That's why I had to bring that up. Todd Bowles.
I don't even know him to dislike him. That sounds kind of bad, but I definitely question his decision making for sure.
So I wanna get your reactions to some of the head coach hirings around the NFL. Kevin Stefanski. This is not breaking news, by the way. Kevin Stefanski to Atlanta. Just quick thoughts. It doesn't have to be super in depth.
Hate it.
For what reason? Like, you gotta just don't give me the hate it or love it. You
said quick.
You ain't the game. I know, but like, give me something. Just like, hate it.
What did he do in Cleveland?
2 playoff appearances.
Yeah, no.
Talk about Cleveland now.
Yeah, no. They say that he's the reason why they was so disruptive over there this year.
Think so? That team just was bad.
Yeah, but all the controversy behind it, it was just more than I want to bring into my
That's
bill.
fair. But do you like the pairing an offensive minded head coach with a young Michael Penix?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt. I just feel like it's to be determined. I would have to see how that plays out. I really would.
Okay.
Atlanta's been a shit show anyways, in my opinion. So
they've just been mid. 8-9, 8-8, 7-9, just been hovering around that. Robert Saleh to the Titans, Daboll is OC.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I like that. I like that a lot too. Big shakeup in that AFC South.
Yeah,
Big shakeup in that AFC South.
Yeah, I liked him in New York.
Great defensive mind. The Jets' defenses were good under Saleh. It was just obviously couldn't figure out the offense.
Yeah.
And obviously Daboll with Cam Ward, I think that's a fantastic hire because we saw he got great production obviously out of Josh Allen. Things were looking good with Dart. Dart just couldn't stay on the field. I think Cam's due for a pretty good season. They're going to have a last place schedule. Division is tough, but I like that hire. I agree with you. Todd Monken, Ravens OC, head coach of the Browns.
Yeah, I don't know enough if I'm being real.
Well, we've seen what the Ravens offense devolves to sometimes.
Yeah.
Get away from what you do best in the most crucial moments.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
The good thing for Cleveland is that there's not a lot they do best, so it's not like we could just default to something.
Yeah.
But I will say this about Cleveland. They have a lot of young offensive talent on that roster.
Yeah, they do.
Shador showed a lot of promise. Harold Fannin broke out in a big way.
Fannin been balling. Oh, they're running back. Junkins, yeah. Junkins.
He suffered the injuries, but comes back healthy. And we saw in his limited time what Samson could do. Right? He played well. So they get some weapons on the outside.
Over there with Garrett. So
Denzel Ward's a really good corner. They're gonna have the defensive rookie of the year, Schlesinger, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
So they just in that division. Now that division, all of a sudden, who knows?
You know what's funny is that they talked about Cincinnati, right? Because of Burrow and Chase. So I get it, and Higgins. But what do they have money to spend? Yeah, they don't have no money.
And also their offensive line is a huge question mark.
Yeah, no. And obviously you need that to protect your injury-prone quarterback.
Absolutely. It's crazy. If you would have asked me before this season that there was only going to be one coach in the AFC North that returned, I would not think it was going to be Cincinnati's. Zach Taylor. Right? It'd be like, oh, Harbaugh. But we know what? Maybe they devastated or Tomlin, right? Like, because he never has a losing record. I didn't think it would have been, especially after they had a terrible season. So let's stick in the AFC North. Jesse Minter, Chargers DC to the Ravens.
Well, the Chargers had a good defense, so I'm not mad at that. I don't know enough about him as a coach, if I'm being honest. I think like a lot of these have to play out to see how. It's almost like watching film on the players. I want to see how they're coaching because I'm big on leadership and all that. So how they connect with people. Same with Vrabel. That's why I love Vrabel. He's a player's coach. Like I said, giving everybody a handshake going into the locker room like that. That's a difference. That's a difference maker. It might seem small, but that goes a long way.
Yeah, I think Mentor was I said mentor. I think Mentor was a great hire. I mean, 5th ranked scoring defense this year. Last year, 2024, he took over the NFL's 30th ranked defensive unit from a scoring perspective and turned it into the best scoring defense in 2024. So obviously big defensive impact. The Ravens defense, at least especially in the first part of the season, was terrible. They turned it on a little bit later on. So from a defensive standpoint, I really like it. Offensively, they have the pieces, right? Like Lamar at quarterback. But the thing is, how limited is Lamar from a rushing standpoint? Because he was tentative all season. You could tell he wasn't looking to run like how he normally did. Derrick Henry with another year on him. Obviously still effective. Zay Flowers extremely talented. And then likely Mark Andrews. I mean, they have the pieces offensively. I don't know if that what that means long term, but
we talked about like leadership. That's a big part, right? If you get the buy-in, I think that's another thing, right? Is defensive-minded coach. How does that sit with Lamar and the rest of the offense?
Got high praise.
Also, how you said it, like Ravens had chances, but for whatever reason, they went away from what worked for them.
Always. But sometimes, like to your point, that could just be hey, we need a new voice in the locker room, and maybe that just flips the switch.
Do you think there's a lot of coaching changes because they seen what happened with the Vrabel situation?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that plays a part in it. I think when you see these turnarounds happen, absolutely, it's like you expect quick success, and when you're an incumbent, as long as Harbaugh was, I think it's sometimes we talked about like easy to hang on to what happened in the past, and I credit the Ravens for making a move, saying, "Hey, something needs to change. It's not going to be our quarterback." And I just think it puts a lot of pressure on the coach coming in because like we fired the guy because he didn't win a Super Bowl. Now, like this is what the expectation is. People think that you have a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. Obviously, you got the chops defensively to make things happen.
Yeah, and that pressure, burst pipes at times. So we'll see how it goes.
Steelers hire Mike McCarthy.
I didn't know that actually went through. I know I seen a thing, but I don't know what to believe anymore when I see shit. The Steelers hire Mike McCarthy. Why? Why?
I mean, the offense in Dallas was good when he was there. Obviously, the offense in Green Bay was good while he was there.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to be there still?
That's undecided, but I mean, take that as you will.
I don't care. I mean,
would it make you feel better?
To me, that's just a change in coaching. I don't think that puts them over the top.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think so either. I mean, again, because you don't know necessarily who's going to play quarterback. Are they going to target one in the draft? This isn't necessarily a deep quarterback draft, especially the quarterback from Oregon, Dante Moore, said that he was going to go back to school, which I thought was funny because I'm not sure if you heard all the news around it where obviously Mendoza's going to go first overall and the Jets have the second overall pick. So like, if you're Dante Moore, you want 100% go back to school. And I thought that was funny. I'm like, yo, you think the Jets aren't going to be right back there next year?
Yeah.
They got time. They got time for that shit.
Yo, I seen a thing, bro. If you bet, I forgot what it was. I think it was like $50. If you bet $50 and took the money that you won week over week and put it on the Jets for not throwing an interception, you would have made like $5.3 million.
You'd have been rich,
shit, bro.
Rich.
Crazy.
Absolutely. Jeff Hafley to the Miami Dolphins, former Packers defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that, bro.
I mean, Green Bay's defense before the Micah injury was phenomenal.
There's a lot of things you got to deal with coaching, though. So when you get there, right, let me ask you a question. You're this coach, right? You got a new job. You have talent, obviously, in that locker room, but you also have probably your most talented player in Tyreek Hill, David Achane right there. Devine Achane, excuse me. And those personalities. And he wanted out. It seemed like he was happy that he got injured, but, how do you address that? And like, what is your first move?
Well, first move got to be figuring out what the heck's going on at the quarterback situation. What are you doing with Tua? Are you going to roll with Quinn Ewers? You got to figure that out. Then you obviously turn your sights to the Tyreek Hill situation. Obviously you have a talented wide receiver in Jalen Waddle. Like you mentioned, Devon Achane. Does Darren Waller come back, who had the stretch of the season where he looked really good, right? Yeah, you got to address the Tua situation first and foremost.
You're walking into a situation, like, what are the expectations? Not especially because you got the New England Patriots now. Obviously, right. Josh Allen, the Bills. What is the expectations there?
It can't be, like, realistic ones can't be.
It got to be playoffs.
I feel like even that's a stretch. I mean, of course.
Like a wild card game.
I don't even know if you're that good.
I don't think you are.
the thing is, I don't even know what. I don't have the number in front of me. Like if they decide to move on for Tua, like how much that'll impact their cap. But it has to be ridiculous because they give him bread.
Yeah, I remember that.
Tyreek also got the bag. And he's coming off an injury. So what team's going to want to take on that whole contract? I don't know. The only reason I'm saying they're not finishing last is because the Jets exist.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. Right. That's the only reason where I'm like, yeah, they're not dead last. So, I mean, granted, if you have a great defense, a lot of things are possible if you just get solid quarterback play. So, and Halfley, I mean, the Packers defense finished 11th in yards, 11th in points allowed, 12th in yards after the Parsons injury. And the season before, 6th in points allowed, 5th in yards allowed. So his defenses over the last 2 seasons were really good. But Miami, I don't think Miami has near the amount of talent on the defensive end. So it's going to be an uphill battle for him. I think this was one of the least attractive coaching jobs, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
Just because of what you're facing. All right, lastly, the Bills hiring Joe Brady, former offensive coordinator, as their head coach. Your thoughts?
I think it's probably good for Josh, who they're probably wanting to, please, especially because he's the face of the franchise. I like McDermott, so it's tough for me, but I think that sometimes you need change, even though it's not a complete change because he's already in the building. But, if you have a different voice at leadership, that could be significant. It's almost like takes me back to the Ram days when I finally had my chance, but I don't know what that looked like inside the locker room. Like, did he already have their air? Was he already somebody that they looked at as the leader or a leader who can, move forward? Because go back to expectations. What are the Bills' expectations now? Is it still Super Bowl? It got to be, right?
As long as Josh is in his prime, it has to be Super Bowl. Period. Yeah. My question is, your goals, you think it's going to make your franchise better. And obviously, if there was tension between McDermott and Beane and ownership, a change had to be made. But I don't know. To your point, this guy was already in the building. Now, it's good because there's that continuity. I might have went for Dable.
Yeah, so I remember that was the talks. I thought that was definitely going to happen, but, surprise.
I don't know. And here's my thought, too. Like, because we talked about the whole Keon Coleman situation, right? And how that was a mess. Sean McDermott known as being a defensive guy, right? So when they're picking offensive players, don't you think that the offensive coordinator has some say in that? Especially because McDermott isn't an offensive guy. I would think because that was a successful organization for a while that McDermott is listening to the people on his coaching staff, especially the offensive coordinator, say, hey, this would be a good pick. This would be a good pick. They haven't been able to hit on receiver.
Well, I just want to say thank you to Buffalo for giving us Mac Hollins and Stephon Diggs because I'm grateful.
Mac Hollins had a big catch in the Denver game.
Stephon Diggs he's been playing well all season, man.
So I don't know. Like, the only reason why I give Buffalo any chance is because who they have under center.
Yeah, I think you give that guy too much credit. Shout out to Gmo. I got to shout out to Gmo because Gmo's like, what did he win? That's always his argument. You guys say this guy's the top quarterback. Jalen Hurts got a Super Bowl MVP.
But that's why he makes the argument, though. He makes the argument because that's the only way how he can catapult Jalen Hurts up is by saying, well, none of these guys have won shit outside of Patrick Mahomes.
No, I know. I get what
that's
he's doing.
That's the only and it's respectable. And of course, Stafford's won the chip. That's the only thing you could do. Well, now, imagine if the Seahawks win. He better have that same energy for Sam Darnold. Gotta have that same energy for Sam Darnold. Right? Why wouldn't you? Yeah. Won a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So, I get why Gmo's doing it. I think it's a smart play until you get a matchup like this one where you're going to have a new Super Bowl champion who's never won before. And now they have the same accolades as your friend. Now, I get he's been to 2 Super Bowls, played well in both, but he only got 1 chip. Now, one of these guys is going to have a chip. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? This has been circulating around is that Sam Darnold is the first quarterback from his draft class, which, of course, includes Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen, to make a Super Bowl. And he actually made it when he was a backup for the Niners a couple of years ago. But to start in the Super Bowl. And man, the redemption arc has been great for Sam Darnold. I think the story is phenomenal. But I think that's because we always talk about quarterback coach, right? We've been saying that. But I think we would both agree that Josh Allen's a better quarterback than Sam. I think we both think that Baker's a better quarterback than Sam. But yes, Sam is here. What do you make of that, right? Because everybody tries to go quarterback coach combo.
Well, I think what I make of that is Sam has a fucking unbelievable defense compared to those other two guys.
That's fair.
He has, in my opinion, he has the best receiver. Although, no shot at Mike Evans. Mike Evans is phenomenal. Hall of Fame wide receiver.
Right now, JSN is better, of course.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like right now, right? So I think without that defense, I don't think Seattle gets to where they are.
No, that's fair. And I get it because I think that just helps Josh Allen's argument, saying I give him too much credit.
Well, you do. But it does help the argument. I won't deny that either. What I'm saying is, right, so you also said earlier in this episode that Josh Allen wants to be Superman all the time, and it makes mistakes.
Sam makes mistakes because he sees ghosts. Josh makes mistakes because he's trying to be Superman.
He's going to see ghosts on February 8th as well, my friend.
Listen, it's going to be... I was talking with my guy, Joe Shaw, my guy, Joel. He listens to these, he looks forward to him. I was like, listen, man, like, I think a lot of people, and rightfully so, are heaping a lot of praise on the Sam Darnold. What I dislike, though, about not people congratulating Sam and giving him the credit he deserves is the people that are trying to be like, all you haters of Sam Darnold, he just proved you wrong. Like, you were on this side. You were on the same side. Roll back the tape when he was in Minnesota last year. Roll back the tape of the first Rams game that they played this season.
Mm-hmm.
Roll that back.
Yeah.
You weren't talking like this. You were like, oh, we always knew Sam had it in him. We always knew that he could be a big game quarterback.
We'll see, because he's going to face an elite defense.
This is going to be the toughest defense that they've played all postseason, 100%. So that's one. I wanted to call that out. It's like, stop acting like you wasn't having the same thoughts we were about Sam Darnold going pumpkin mode in big games. That's one. Two, to your point, that's going to have to be the story of the game for me, for the Patriots to win. It's not Drake Maye phenomenal. It's wow. We really underrated this Patriots defense. Like, severely underrated it. Because I think the Patriots are 5.5-point underdogs, which I know you
not big of an underdog?
Let me double check. But when I saw the line, I believe I saw 5.5.
I love that. I love that.
Now they're 4.5-point underdogs.
I love it.
I do too. I think that bodes very well for the Patriots because, the thing is, they had this motif of being the underdog, but I feel like going into the season, the Patriots where people weren't as high on them as you were, where you're like, we're going to the chip. I think people were like when I told you, yeah, I could see the Patriots. You're like, Patriots are going to the chip. They're at least making the playoffs. And I was like, I could see it, but I'm willing to bet you that they don't make it, right? They were favored in a majority of their games this year. And now, of course, them winning a lot of games helped that out. They were also favored in every playoff game they played so far.
No, they weren't favorites against Denver.
Yeah, after the Knicks injury. 100%.
Oh, they were? Oh, yeah, they gave us the points. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because if Bo Nix was healthy, you guys probably would have been underdogs. But even though they were like the odds-on favorite, I feel like people were picking against them anyways. Like, oh, the Chargers sneaky, right? That's a good play. Oh,
yeah, they were.
People, there was a lot of analysts that picked Houston, right? A ton of them. There was analysts that picked Denver, even with Jarrett Stidham. Oh, now they've had this underdog feel, even though they're 14-3. They've been favored in the majority of their games. But now they really get to embrace that underdog.
Mm-hmm.
I know a coach like Mike Vrabel has to be really leaning into his guys about that. I mean, how would you use that? You see that, like, okay, how would you use that to fire up the troops?
Oh, that's easy. That's what I told you. I live for that shit. Let's prove them wrong. I love what Vrabel did. So you probably don't know because you're not a big movie guy, But the whole Warriors, that's from the movie, right? From the gang, they had to get back to Coney Island. But it's like a Road Warriors theme, like we're going on the road. Love that mentality. I think that you do what you've been doing all year. You're not gonna reinvent the wheel because it's been working, right? 9-0.
One more dub. And we can end with this. This is what's scary about this equation here, right? And I don't want to get too ahead of anything, but if the Patriots win this Super Bowl, we are entering the opportunity of another New England dynasty. Like that, I mean, and it sounds crazy, right? Because like, oh, the overreacted prisoner of the moment. But in all reality, especially next season, what's stopping them?
Nothing.
Drake Maye is only going to be better.
We still have the largest cap.
Exactly, because you don't got to pay Drake. The way that Drake acts and his demeanor and the way that he's all about the team makes you feel like he's and the fact he's in the Patriots organization makes you feel like he's going to do some Tom Brady type of activities, not like a level of greatness, but like, I'm willing to take less money.
Yeah.
To have a great team around me, right? I'm willing to do what it takes so we could win on the margins. That's the kind of vibe that you get from Drake. We don't know what the Ravens are going to be. They're in a state of flux. We don't know what the Bills are going to be. They're in a state of flux. We don't know what the Broncos are going to be. We obviously want Bo to recover from the injury, but we don't know because we just talked about that tough division. We don't know what Mahomes is going to be coming off the Achilles injury, right? We don't know. The AFC's in a state of flux, and all of a sudden, the New England Patriots are the most stable franchise in the AFC. With
I'm up for another dynasty.
With an MVP candidate who's only in his second year.
Crazy.
Buckle up.
That's crazy.
Buckle up.
That's crazy.
Buckle up, guys. It's gonna be painful for a lot of people. Painful for a lot of people. They don't want to see New England back at the top.
I love it.
But it's just the beginning, which means there's going to be some giant resurgence. If this happened like last New England dynasty, the only thing is the Patriots need to win 3 championships before the Giants come back, because that's what happened last time.
Well, 1 this year. I'll take another 1 next year. Actually, Drake might get the 3-peat.
Because it was 0-1, right?
0-1, 0-3, 0-3,
0-4. So if they follow that pattern, then he would have to lose next year. But I think the opportunities is there for next year too, because of all the flux in the conference. And then the NFC is such a bloodbath; they're going to beat each other up.
And you know what's funny? I just thought about this right now. Is the opportunity that some players had to come to New England, and they chose not to, like Godwin. Who was the other receiver? There's another receiver that I think had the opportunity but chose not to. But I know Godwin was one of them.
He took less money to stay in Tampa.
Yeah.
Which I respect. He loved Tampa, obviously.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with it. He just won't get to the Super Bowl.
That's it.
My guy Diggs
trade for Marv. Trade for Marv on the low.
Man. I would love that.
Trade for Marv on the low. Hear me out. Obviously didn't work out, but you got the most accurate quarterback. Trade for Marv on the low. Uh-oh.
We got a better chance of getting A.J. Brown. Yeah, I already told you how I felt about that. I'm just saying I feel like we have a better chance of getting him.
Listen, so you got the Patriots. Should I say who I got right now? Maybe I'll save it for next episode. People come back. How about that?
They'll come back.
I know it sounds like I'm high on the Patriots, but listen, you never know what a week could do.
Just wait. I'll let
grind
you
all 22, right? Watch plays of Nick Emanwari lighting people up. You seen that play? Have you watched that play back? It was the deciding 4th down where Stafford, they looked like they was going to blitz and they dropped everybody back and only rushed 2 on that critical 4th down. They had their rookie, he's like a safety linebacker hybrid. Rush, he just drove the left tackle right back into Stafford.
Did he?
Kid's a dog, bro.
Gotta love that. That's what I think, that we have to continue bringing on that blitz and bringing on that pressure.
It's been
working. It's been working.
Have to pressure Sam. Well, stay tuned. You never know. I might roll with the whole hometown Seahawks. You never know.
God, this guy.
I watch enough film.
I hope you do.
Who knows? You cursed my Rams pick.
Actually, you know what's funny? I gotta find somewhere to watch that game, just because every time you text me throughout the game, I'm like, bro, I'm still like in the third quarter.
Watching this guy's watching last year. He's watching the Malcolm Butler Super Bowl.
I'm watching super slow motion, bro. Analyzing every play as it buffers.
Ridiculous. Well, appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you made it this far, of course, remember, subscribe, like, leave a comment. Tell us who your picks are for the Super Bowl. And don't just tell us who, tell us why. I would love to dissect some of those comments on the show. Again, follow us on social media. And until next week, think critically, speak infamously. It's love.
Love.